Hey, look at that. There's apparently progress being made between Ukraine and Russia when they're sitting down talking, I don't know, ceasefire talks or whatever. Because we should probably figure out what each side wants. Because right now, okay, what's the mainstream media narrative? We all know it at this point. Russia bad. Ukraine, I don't know, just proselytize. Literally, you have fat fucking Amy Schumer saying, we should Skype in Zelensky to the Oscars because we have a lot of people watching. Did you not see the ratings last year? Nobody's watching that shit, okay? With that same logic, I should have Zelensky's fucking Skype in because I have a lot of viewers on my show. Sure thing, I'll get right on that. No, it's just a fucking insane world. Yeah, Russia just wants total domination, right? And Zelensky's the good boy who didn't do nothing. He's going to be making all the rounds this weekend on all the cable news shows. I don't know that for sure, but don't be surprised if that happens as well. And then also unveiling his brand new Lego man figure. That's a real fucking thing, by the way. Just to show you the weird hero worship that's going on the left right now. It was Andrew Cuomo at the beginning of 2020. Even before that, you had, what's his nuts? The creepy porn lawyer, Michael Avenatti. All of these people being held up by the left is just, oh my god, these guys, they're just so great and just all... creepy cat lady leftists posting their fucking thirst traps for that. And now Zelensky's their guy who's out there. Oh my god, just our little European hunk. Tell you what, if you're thirsting after a full-blooded Ukrainian, you're definitely getting a hunk. Unfortunately, that hunk is what's rattling around between the ears. Ain't that fucking bright. But here I am talking like Joe Biden yesterday when he was addressing the current state of affairs there, saying, I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid. He literally said that before calling Putin a murderous dictator and a pure thug. Yeah, but he's not stupid. Can you say the same thing, Joe? And again, what's the stereotype for Irish? Lazy and drunk? I don't think stupid plays into that. Anywho, let's get back to what the common ground they found is. They appear to have found some common ground amid ceasefire talks, according to information released from both sides. So we can at least believe this. It doesn't seem like it's too terribly biased because, yeah, confirmed by both sides. The only thing we can confirm at this stage of the ceasefire, withdrawal of Russian troops and security guarantees for a number of countries. Seems to make sense. Mikhailo Poliakov, whatever, advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, wrote in a Twitter post. Cool. Podolyak is also one of Ukraine's representative at the Russia-Ukraine ceasefire negotiations. He confirmed a draft of the ceasefire deal reported by the Financial Times, but said it only represents the position of the Russian side. He also encouraged a direct dialogue between Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Yeah, that should probably happen, you'd think. The way that you solve this conflict is through communication. That's the way you solve all conflicts. Open dialogue. Give it a try. According to the Financial Times, a 15-point draft would include Kiev abandoning the pursuit of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization membership. Seems to make sense, and even Zelensky, if you guys have seen that running around as well, him just saying, listen, the Ukraine joining up with NATO, we got to realize that's not going to happen. So maybe it seems like that's finally fucking set in, declaring neutrality a la Switzerland. It's like, oh, okay, cool. You're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place on that one, because on one side you have Russia, which definitely, if you wanted to just go ahead and cozy up to them, they'll just go ahead and they'll ensure your borders. Unfortunately, you won't really have independent Ukrainian borders if you just completely give up, but that's one way to go. And then on the other side, you got the European Union being like, no, that's all right, and NATO doing the exact same thing. So I think neutrality is probably your best option at this point. Accepting the limits on its armed forces seems to make sense, and promising not to host foreign military bases or weapons, leading to the ceasefire and withdrawal of Russian forces from Ukraine. Stop building up an army, and then we won't have to come back and fight you. Sound good? Seems to fucking make sense, right? What's Zelensky's side of this? It's a little bit less detailed, and it's a little bit more boisterous and hyperbolic. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, in his address Thursday, outlined the country's key priorities for peace talks with Russia. Negotiations are ongoing. Negotiations for the sake of Ukraine. Is probably what you should be concerned about instead of just showing up on people's television screens and receiving standing ovations from foreign diplomats. You should be working on the health and safety of the Ukrainian people. Seems to be not exactly at the top of your priority list, but then again, you got to work on your own exit strategy. Once all of this fucking shakes out, sure, you have movies and reality television shows to be doing after this. My priorities in negotiations are absolutely clear. The end of the war. That's normally why you'd be discussing a ceasefire, but at least you're on point here. Security guarantees, sovereignty, restoration of territorial integrity, real guarantees for our country, real protection for our country. What does any of that mean? His remarks come after, same advisor, Mike Podolsky, and one of Ukrainine's representatives at the ceasefire negotiations signaled the two countries have found common ground. The only thing we can confirm at this stage of the ceasefire is the withdrawal of the troops, guarantees, a number of countries, all that fun stuff. 3 weeks in, Britain's defense ministry said the intelligence update, the offensive has largely stalled on all fronts. Yeah, you take a look at the invasion map, and really though, shit hasn't evolved all that much. They went in where they went in 3 fucking weeks ago at this point. Haven't moved any farther than that, mostly because they could. They have the armament too. They aren't waiting on fucking drop shipments from all over the Western world. No, Russia has the means to just completely fucking glass the areas they want. But they're going really out of their way to save civilian lives. And it's tough, right? Because most of their on-the-ground armaments are tanks, are jeeps, are troop transport vehicles, and there's not a lot of give, and there's not a lot of movement on tanks when it comes to aiming up, especially in buildings, and they're just trying to keep most of them upright, by the way. But the places where the quote-unquote shelling is occurring, at least the verifiable stuff, are in the places that they're actually concerned about. Because you take a look, it's like, okay, cool. New York Post has it highlighted here, and we'll get to the gist of this article, because I don't know if I've used them for any sort of resource when covering this conflict, but they seem to be in lockstep with everybody else because they also realize that war reporting is very easy and it's very profitable because it gets a lot of fucking clicks. But the orange and yellow areas, those are the ones that want to be a part of Russia, by the way. Donetsk, Luhansk, that's the Donbass region. And then you got the little island that's just down there that's all covered up with the white writing right there. You got Crimea. Y'all remember that from 2014. They wanted to leave Ukraine, and then Ukraine's like, no, you can't leave. And Russia's like, we'll recognize you if you do want to leave. And Obama stuck his big fucking flappy ears into the entire conflict and led to that debacle. But we need not retread all of that well-worn ground. We have enough fertile soil here to till. But like I said, Putin, man, big bad. Very, very big gap in peace talks to settle Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But I thought it was like they were finding common ground on this, right? Well, apparently not, because the war must continue, at least until the end of the year, because the Democrats want to say that they're going to go out there, going to fight Putin because the GOP are all Putin's puppets, even though they don't have control of any branch of government. And as soon as they did take power and they did take control of those different houses, that's when the Russians did invade. So just again, don't think about it. Putin bad. Very, very big gap separates negotiators seeking to settle Russia's deadly invasion of Ukraine one day after Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered a bellicose speech against the West, according to a report Thursday. Yeah, it was pretty bold. We'll just go ahead and say that. Both sides are taking them seriously, but they are very, very big. But there's a very, very big gap between the positions in question. A Western official told Reuters. Very specific. Another Western official discussing a regional conflict in Eastern Europe. So again, it's always funny, the people with this information, but hey, run the headline. That's going to generate the most clicks, right? Another Western official said anyone who saw President Putin addressing the nation yesterday would be forgiven for thinking that Russia is not in a compromising mood. Yeah, imagine that. Wanting to put up a strong face while your country's at war, instead of just running around trying to beg everybody to please send help because things are so bad, but then at the same time also saying we're definitely beating the brakes off those Russians, right? Sure thing. During the televised address to Russian government ministers, Putin claimed that the invasion was going to plan and accused the West of pursuing hostile geopolitical goals. Where's the lie? He also said the Western leaders think that they can prevail over Russia. They don't know our history or our people. Again, where's the lie on that one? Western officials who spoke Thursday said China's potential role in the conflict, including its willingness to supply Russia with arms, remained unclear. China's not doing anything, therefore they're helping out Russia. Well, if you keep pushing them into Xi's just open fucking arms in this situation, what do you think they're gonna do? Keep cutting them off from the world, and China's like, oh yeah, we'll pick up whatever you don't ship over to Western nations. We'll buy from you. Don't worry about it. We'll set up a brand new currency exchange programs. It'll be great. Don't worry about it. Their leadership would like to be supportive of Russia, but are increasingly aware of how badly this is going at the moment. Maybe they just realize that they need not stick their nose into this, because give it a little bit of time, Ukraine's not going to be able to maintain their opposition to this. Maybe they fucking figured this out and they aren't buying into the propaganda that's going on right now, and some of the reputational blowback. By the way, okay, I already know that this is bullshit. Okay, other than the fact that it's just saying Western official, which is probably like a guy who runs coffee and heard bits and pieces of a phone conversation. The CCP doesn't give a fuck about its perceived reputation on the world stage. What the fuck are you talking about reputational blowback associated with being in the Russian camp? One official said. It's just bullshit. It is such flagrant bullshit, but like I said, like I've been saying, at least for this week, more people are picking up on this because it's so obvious how nonsensical this shit is. We don't really know what's going on the ground, other than just pure theorization because, oh my god, you see these bad pictures? Oh my god, you just got buildings bombed out and people just walking, and it's literal hell. And I don't deny any of that. It's like, fuck yeah, that building's definitely destroyed. Was that Russians? Was it Ukrainians? Has it always been like that? Don't know for sure. Not on the ground, but neither are any of these fucking reporters. They're just too busy running stories like this. Hey, a Russian model who trashed Putin on social media found dead in a suitcase. Oh my god, Putin is just now taking it to the only whores. Oh my god, can you fucking believe this? A Russian model who called Vladimir Putin a psychopath has been found dead and stuffed inside a suitcase, a report said. See, obviously, Putin is a psychopath. His ego is fragile, and you know what? All of this needling just finally got to him, and he decided to take it out on Greta Vedler, a 23-year-old, honestly very attractive young woman, and just had her killed. It's just amazing how fragile this guy's ego is. But then at the same time, you take a look at his military strategy, and he's not lashing out in that direction, just in this one. Oh, but then the story, unfortunately for the narrative pushers, Fox News, where the story was initially published, who has never seen a war that it didn't like, because like I said before, easy fucking clicks. There's more to the story than just the headline. She went missing a year ago after her anti-Putin social media rant, but the two events do not appear to be connected. Fuck that second paragraph. Vedler's ex-boyfriend, well, that's pretty dismissive of him. God, she was only missing for a year, and she eventually did show back up. Probably a little bit more tolerable to be around now. Dmitry Korovin, 23, has now confessed to the strangling her to death. Oh yes, before driving her 300 miles to the Lipetsk region and abandoning her body in the boot of a car. The Daily Star reports. Oh, okay, so he just strangled her to death. But she also said that Putin was a psychopath. I've called Biden dementia-riddled, and if I turn up dead, or because I think that Hillary Clinton's a crook, that one's actually probably more deadly than the former comparison. Sorry about that. But yeah, man, isn't it funny, though? The propaganda is just so crazy. She made one statement, completely unconnected to her death, but pretty girl turns up in a suitcase, a very attractive woman is strangled to death by her deranged boyfriend, but she said something about Putin. That means he definitely had something to do with it, right? Let's not end on a down note, okay? Let's end on an up note, right? All of this Russian cancellation. You know what? I've been against it for the most part, but finally we have a story worth sharing on this. Commies lose again. University of Florida removes Karl Marx study room for, there go, following Russian invasion of Ukraine. Yep, can't be celebrating any Russians anymore, so sucks to suck, I guess. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.